Hello, we'll get started in just a minute. Make sure you read the screen. Make sure your video is on so we can all see your faces. Please make sure you have your correct name in your screen, and then also type your name in the chat so we know you are here. And then also everyone's supposed to show their cell phone. I'll show you mine. See, there's my kids. And then we put our cell phone far away so we are all fully focused on the class. I'll give everybody another minute or so to log on, and then we'll get started.
Professor,
Yes.
could you make myself and Jesse Ramos co-host?
Yes. Let's see.
So to confirm, I'm a tutor and Jesse's a trainer. So
Awesome.
I
Hi,
need
Jesse. You go by Joel, right?
yes, that's correct, Professor.
Okay. Hi, guys. So once we get started, I'm going to have you guys just, I don't know if you've met everybody already, but I'll just have you guys introduce yourselves just to make sure everybody's all on the same page. But I'll give everyone about 1 more minute to log on. And then I think I'll have to do, because I have my shared screen, my computer sometimes gives me issues. So I'll do the co-host in just a minute.
Sure.
Really quick, Jesus, do you have a laptop? Are you on your phone right now?
No, I'm on my iPad.
Okay, for sure.
So I have make host, but it's not showing me make co-host.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's only in case sometimes me and Jesse need to send messages, but we can't because students are disabled from sending messages to each other.
Okay. Maybe
which is fine.
When I take it out of the shared screen, which I'll do in just a minute, I might be able to change it there.
Yeah, but it's not urgent. It's we have other means of communication.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we have 4 students, right? Let's see, who are my students? We've got Lisbeth. Hi, Lisbeth. I see Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. And then I think Andrea. And is it Ashley? Are those my 4 students so far? Okay, I'll give it.
Yeah.
I'm also one of your students.
Okay, cool. Once I get out of this setting, let me go ahead. I'll get out of it, but make sure. Let's see. Oh, and Jesus. Hi, Jesus. Now, maybe I now have everybody. Oh. Hold on. Stop share. Okay, put it into normal mode. Okay. We're 4 minutes in, so I'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. I'll introduce myself, and then I'll have our tutor mentor introduce themselves in case you're not already familiar with them, and then we'll get started. So I am Professor Calisher. Welcome to Math Sim Statistics. I want you all to realize that you are so lucky to be a part of this program. I'm sure you're already familiar with who Professor Conley is. She and many others are working very hard to make this a very successful course for you. So if you put in the same effort that you put into your sports, take advantage of the resources that are made available to you. It should be a really good semester. So please take advantage of everything that we have because it's well worth the effort and time that you'll put in for a very short 6 weeks. So just a little bit about me. Born and raised in Southern California. I went to college in Texas, but I quickly came back. I have my master's degree from Cal State Fullerton, and I've been teaching for over 15 years. I taught high school for 9. As soon as I taught 1 part-time class at a community college, I realized this was the place for me. So I've been at Cerritos now for over 6 years, and I teach just about everything. So statistics, obviously, but pre-algebra, algebra, calculus, So I always like a variety. So I'm happy to be here with you. I know we're all at home, so I'm going to do my best to make this as much of a classroom interactive group discussion. So, but I do apologize. I do have children. My son is 10 and my daughter is 7. And so sometimes they might try to peek their heads in. So I apologize in advance for my children sometimes wanting to be on video. But I think that's really just about it for me. Let's see, Jesse and Joel, can you just say a quick hi and a little background about you if you haven't already?
Sure. Hi, I'm Joel. I'm a tutor. I've been working at Cerritos College for several semesters. I've been a tutor for stats several times. I'm starting grad school in the fall for the master's program at Cal State Long Beach for math and Pure, and that's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Jesse. I've been in the sim program since it started, which is last year, so not that long. I was a student at Cerritos for 3-4 years, and I recently just transferred out. I just finished my first year at Dominguez this past spring, and hopefully I'm going to graduate in the next 1 to 2 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joel and Jesse, for being here and helping us out. So now I want to get to know my students kind of similar to how I would in class. So I'm going to have you all introduce yourselves. Obviously, we can read your names. Let me know what sport you are a part of, and then kind of maybe an interesting fact about you. So I'll start. I am not an athlete. When I was in high school, I did track and cross country, so I'm a runner. And maybe my interesting fact is related to that is I like to run half marathons in my free time. So I think I'll start with Lisbeth.
Okay, hi, I go by Liz. I'm a part of the volleyball program, and an interesting fact, I like camping, so
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Awesome. Have you done any camping recently?
Yeah, I went with my boyfriend and a couple of friends camping, and they have a razor, so we were doing that.
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, nice to meet you, Liz. Ashley, you're next.
I'm Ashley. I play soccer, and I guess I like going to the beach a lot with my friends.
Awesome. Oh, now's the right time to go. Very cool. Andrea, how about you?
Okay, so hi, my name is Andrea. I play soccer, and an interesting fact is I love writing, reading, anything not to do with math. But
Well,
you know,
what, in statistics, there's a lot more reading. It's a lot of like reading and pulling what the key ideas are. So you'll probably be great at that. So this is a good course, especially if you've ever struggled with algebra. There's not as much in this course, so you should be just fine.
hopefully.
What's your favorite book, Andrea?
Oh, right now, The Hate You Give.
Okay.
It's a good book. Also a good movie, but the book is much better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the recommendation. Okay, next we have Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I'm a part of the softball program, and one thing I really enjoy and do is working out a lot, lifting weights.
Very cool. Awesome. And next we have Jesus.
Hi, my name is Jesus, and I'm part of the men's basketball team. And an interesting fact is that I'm from Mexico, so
Awesome.
English is my second language. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you ever need me to repeat what I'm saying or anything like that, I know sometimes I can go fast. So just let me know, and I'm
All right.
happy to slow down. The good thing, actually, that it reminds me is that, as you probably noticed when you logged on, we're recording these lectures. And so all of these links will be posted to just our class platform, whether it's seeing one of the other groups that I've met with earlier in the week or whether it's yours. You can also go back and watch it. And what I found when I go back and watch videos, I like to either make them talk really, really fast if it's content I'm familiar with, or if it's something I'm not as familiar with, I can slow the speed down and pause and re-listen to it. Because oftentimes for me, it makes sense when I say it once, but I know I'm using a lot of new terminology for all of you. So repeating me, putting me on repeat will definitely help in understanding all of that, what's coming at you, especially this first week or two with all the new terminology. So we got a lot of great resources for you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. A couple things, if you haven't already, I did say make sure you always show us your cell phone and then put it off to the side so we know that you're all focused. We should be doing our best to sit at a desk if we're able to. We should always have paper and a pencil handy for taking down notes. I might have you, especially down the road, we'll be doing problems. So you'll want something where you can kind of keep your work all nice and organized, okay? So anything else, Jesse or Joel, that I need to remind them before I get started?
No, that's good, Professor. Yep.
Okay, awesome. I'll go ahead and get started. One thing I will tell you, so I have like a PowerPoint ahead of time just because I like to be super organized and make sure I cover everything I want to. But so that I can see all your faces and present at the same time, I can't see part of the PowerPoint. So I'll be randomly calling on you guys to participate, to read what the PowerPoint says. So I actually prefer everyone to be unmuted. So it's just like a natural conversation. Obviously, if you have a neighbor's dog barking, you can mute yourself. Or if you, like me, I might have a kid occasionally pop in, you mute yourself when it's appropriate. But for the most part, I like us all to be unmuted so it's more of a smooth conversation. Okay, and now I will get started. Actually, let me see if I can fix this so I can see you all better. Okay, I think there are a total of 8 of us, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and Joel or Jesse, if somebody else pops in, if you could let me know so I can adjust my frame so that I can make sure I can see everybody.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Okay, so module 2. So I'm assuming you guys have already gone through module 1. Hopefully you watched one of the videos from one of my Monday sessions. If you haven't, make sure you log in. Let me know if you need help finding that link. But just like I'm doing now, I had a PowerPoint with those groups of students. And I went over a bunch of different examples. And those examples will be really helpful, especially in preparing for quizzes and tests. So make sure you watch it. Okay, so module 2, tables and graphs. So the first thing we'll look at is our frequency tables. What does the word frequency mean? Liz, when you think of the word frequency, what do you think it means?
Something like just a whole section of numbers.
Yeah, it's obvious. It relates to numbers, right? So when we think of frequency, we think of like how often, how many numbers, right? It occurs. And so when we look at our frequency tables, here we're going to look at 2 different types, okay? So first of all, I always try to use data that's real. I'm not always able to, but here I'm going to have a table where the data shows below represents the educational attainment in 2013 of adults that were 25 years or older. Keep in mind though that the data is in thousands. So what that means, if you look along the top, it says educational attainment, and then it says not a high school graduate, and so forth. And then the next column says 2013, and it puts that not a high school graduate, we have a frequency of 24,517. So that actually is in millions, it would be 24,517,000. But really the important thing is to kind of see this chart, okay? So now I'll bring up the other one. This, I tried to go with the sports theme for this one. The following data represent the top speed in kilometers an hour of all players except for goalkeepers in the 2014 World Cup soccer tournament. And so here's this table. So I'm going to give you guys a minute. I want you to look at it and see if you can figure out any differences between the tables. And either I'll call on you if you see some differences, or I'll just randomly call on you. You can either raise your hand or I'll randomly. But I'll give you guys a minute to compare these 2 tables. What do you notice is maybe similar? What do you notice is different? Okay, anybody see just one difference right off the start? Alyssa.
One of them is categorical frequency table.
Exactly. One of them is categorical. Which one's categorical? The education or the speed?
The education.
Exactly. That's categorical, right? So as you guys learned on Monday, categorical has to do with categories or different types of labels. The other one's numerical. Now, let's see. I tried to do good little animations here. So like you said, categorical, numerical. But the one that's numerical, the speed, do you think speed, Ashley, I'm going to call on you, is speed continuous or discrete when we're looking at kilometers an hour? Good news, you have a 50-50 chance. The two options were continuous or discrete, and then we'll review what the definitions are.
Discrete.
Ah, you made progress. So write this down if you guys, again, this is why it's good to watch those other videos, because I did talk about it on Monday with that other group. So write this down. Discrete, how I remember it, it's like countable numbers. The definition that you're given is there's like gaps between numbers, right? So for example, when we talk about people, how many people are in this group? There's 8 right now, right? That is a countable number. It jumps from 1 to 2 to 3. There's not like 2.5 people in this group. Continuous is often, how I always think of it is it's measured to a certain level of accuracy. So for example, let's say somebody ran, but their top speed is like 10.5 kilometers an hour. Was it exactly 10.5? Probably not. You could measure it either to the 10th, you could measure it to a whole number. So again, like what decimal point? So this numerical data we would say is continuous because it's measured to any level of accuracy. So again, discrete, the key word is countable. Continuous, it's measured to a certain level of accuracy. So any questions so far on the difference between discrete and continuous? Okay, you can always just thumbs up. Okay, so I have a couple questions for you. Let's see, Andrea, what is the frequency for the college graduates in the categorical table?
Oh, shoot.
Can you see the college graduate on the left?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about converting it. Just tell me what number you see there in the column.
Oh, and the college graduate?
Uh-huh.
Where's college? Oh, 23,931.
Okay. Does that sound right, Jesse and Joel? I can't see it.
It depends how you want to consider college graduate. If you consider a bachelor's degree college graduate or professional.
Yeah, I can't see that column. All of your nice faces are covering it. But yeah, so if we're just talking about just the college graduate, just what does it say? Undergrad or just?
So we have the associate's degree,
okay,
bachelor's degree, and professional or graduate degree.
Okay.
So I would say bachelor's and up would count.
Exactly. Perfect. I agree. So then you would add those two together. Exactly. So the key is we got to just make sure we know how to read it. And then the other one, what is the frequency for the category that's 14? So looking over to the other table for speed, what was the frequency, Alyssa, for the class that's 14 to 18 kilometers an hour?
7.
Exactly, it's 7. Now, do you notice anything kind of interesting about this table on the right for speed? If you notice, for the first, we call it a class from 10 to 14, and then the next class is 14 to 18, and so forth. So do you see how we have an overlap of numbers? Do you guys remember from the module today what we do with that overlap of numbers? Do we count, for example, if I look at that first class, 10 to 14, is that 14, does it go with the first group or in the second group or in both groups?
In the second one.
Exactly, it goes in the second. Perfect. Let's see. There it is. Oops. Oh, shoot, I went too far. There we go. So in other words, the right endpoint is not included. So if somebody had a speed of exactly 14 kilometers an hour, they'd go into the second class and not the first one. Okay, so often we see that overlap there. Okay, so two-way tables. This is useful for bivariate data. Does anybody know what bivariate means?
There's more than one variable?
Exactly. In this case, the bi refers to two, right? And variate is variable. So for two variables. Okay, so here is a chart. It's a little morbid, but it's the quickest one I could find that relates to what we're doing. It says the following data represents the 20-year survival status and smoking status of English women who participated in a cohort study from 1972 to 1992. So I'll give you guys a minute to look at this, and we'll answer 3 questions together. Can you see the 3 questions below? Oh, they're typing out right now. Okay. See, I'm going to move your faces so I can see this a little bit better. So give me just a minute. I'll bring it back, I promise. Try putting you over to the right. Okay, there are the questions again. Okay, so I'll give you guys a minute or so to look at that one, and then we'll answer it together. And if you need to, you can get a calculator out since it's talking about proportion. And if you don't know how to calculate the proportion, that's okay. Just do your best to figure out what columns you're going to be using. Okay, my first question that's actually not posted. Jesus, this will be for you. So just do the best that you can, okay?
Okay.
Based off of this two-way chart, can we figure out how many women participated in this survey?
1,314.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay. So then what we see is that there's 2 different variables here. So our observational unit are the smoking women, or the women. And then we're looking at, were they a smoker or a non-smoker? So that's our first variable. And then our second variable is, after 20 years, were they still alive or had they passed away? Okay, so those are the 2 variables that we're looking at. So number 1, it says, what proportion of the smokers passed away after 20 years? So to figure that one out, let's first figure out how many there were. How many smokers had passed away after 20 years? Liz, can you tell?
Is it 139?
Exactly, exactly. So again, what proportion of the smokers had passed away after 20 years? Since we're just looking at the smokers, to figure out that proportion, we take 139 and put it over what total? Ashley, what do you think? What would the bottom be?
582.
Exactly. So again, since we were just talking about smokers, it's the 139 over 582. And then you can divide that to get a decimal. So number 2, what proportion of the non-smokers had passed away after 20 years? So first, what number of non-smokers had passed away? So just the number of non-smokers. Alyssa? I can't hear you. Say that again, Alyssa. Okay, there you are. So what number of non-smokers had passed away after 20 years? Okay, maybe she froze, so I'll help her out. 230. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then what would the total be? How many non-smokers were there in total? Andrea?
Total is 732.
Exactly. So to figure out the proportion, we would just divide, right? 230 over 732. Okay, now if you did those two calculations, which one had the higher decimal? Which proportion was higher, the one for 1 or the one for 2 when you go to divide them? Jesus, I don't know if you guys have your calculators handy, but were you able to divide them, Jesus?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I didn't either because, of course, I meant to write down these answers and I forgot to. But I'll tell you the answer.
But I
Joel,
do
did
have.
you do it?
Yeah. Always refer to me because I'm trying to do my best to do it as well.
Okay, awesome. What did you get for number 1? What was your proportion for the first one, Joel?
To 4 decimal places is 0.2388.
0.2388. Okay, and number 2, what did you get for number 2?
0.3142.
0.3142. So if we're to compare 0.2388 versus 0.3142, which one is higher? Does this make sense? Wouldn't we think? So did we all get the higher proportion is for the non-smokers? Joel, is that what you got too?
Yes.
Huh.
Which is, you're right. It doesn't
It doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't make sense because you would want.
Right? The point is you're not supposed to smoke, right?
Yeah.
You should live longer if you don't smoke. What happened to the survey? I'll have to check. You know what? It's probably my mistake. I'm wondering if I mixed up the smoker and non-smoker?
By column, it could have been.
Maybe. Okay. Note to self, I need to triple check before we go live. But the point is, do we understand how to read the chart? Okay. Awesome. So that's good.
Well, a good point to make is that based off the information, then we wouldn't assume one has a higher proportion or not until we sample again.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when you get results like that where
slightly counterintuitive. Yeah.
Exactly. It's always, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
How did you get that decimal?
So to get the 2 decimals, so for the first one, the proportion based off of this chart, again, it sounds like something got messed up on my chart, but the proportion of smokers that had passed away after 20 years, we would take 139 and put it over the total for smokers, which is 582.
Oh, okay.
And then the proportion for non-smokers, we take the total of 230 and put it over their total of 732.
Okay.
Now, just so that we practice using this chart a little bit more, what if I wanted to figure out what proportion just out of the women were smokers? How would I figure out what proportion of women were smokers from this study? Jesus, do you know what we would do?
Put the total over all the amount of people.
Exactly. We take the total for the smokers, which is the 582, and put it over the whole total of all the women that participated, which is the 1,314. Excellent. Okay, so again, this is a bivariate table. So a two-way table, so we can kind of see how we use it. We'll explore it a lot more later on. And then also you notice that third question, what might we be able to imply? As of now, we don't have the techniques to draw any conclusions, right? And that's something we'll learn about later on as to how we are able to draw conclusions and have some level of confidence in our conclusions. But we're not there yet. We got a while. Okay, now we're going to talk about visual representations of data, starting with bar graphs. Bar graphs are used for what type of data? Let's see, Ashley. Do you know?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Does anybody know what kind of data do we use bar graphs for?
Is it categorical?
You are correct. Woohoo! Now, if I recall, the tutors and mentors can help give you guys some spins for like extra credit points for your group. Is that correct?
Yeah. Elizabeth already has
give Liz
2
a
spins.
spin. We'll give her a spin at the end of this. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, now one thing I do want you to know is I was watching the videos and different things that you guys have to look through for this module. Sometimes you might see the word qualitative used instead of categorical. So make sure you jot down, if you ever see this term qualitative, it's also referring to categorical data. Now, most likely for tests, we'll just be using the term categorical, but sometimes if you're watching a resource online or asking somebody for help, we use the two synonymously. So it's good to just have it as a reference, okay? So again, qualitative refers to categorical. How I remember it is that L in qualitative, I remember it for like labels, right? Categories are like labels, okay? So just keep a heads up for that. So bar graph, here is a bar graph. Let's say some people were sampled as to what their favorite type of movie is. So notice we have comedy, action, romance, drama, and sci-fi. Can we put this into a frequency table? So I'm going to set up one side for you. Can you do the other side of the table? It says favorite type of movie. We have comedy, action, romance, drama, and sci-fi. Can you determine what the frequency is for the other side of this table? So I'll give you guys a minute to jot down the frequency. Okay, so based off of the table, how many people said their favorite type of movie is comedy? Let's see. Jesus, how many people liked comedy?
4.
Exactly. Andrea, how many liked action?
5.
Ashley, how many liked romance?
6.
And Liz, how many liked drama?
1.
And Alyssa, I see you're in and out. Can you tell us how many like sci-fi?
My Wi-Fi keeps cutting in and out.
Hey, you're back. That's all that matters. Okay, can you tell how many people like sci-fi?
4.
Woohoo, perfect. Okay, did I have anything else for this one? Actually, if I go back, one thing I want to point out for our bar graphs, again, this is for our categorical data. So you'll notice because we're dealing with categories, doesn't matter the order that we put comedy, action, romance, drama, and sci-fi. Does the order matter for that horizontal axis? No, right? So our graph could have a completely different look to it if I switch the order, right? Sometimes with categorical, when they know the frequencies, they'll just always have it go smallest to biggest, right? But again, there's no order you can put to those categories. Another thing I want to point out that makes it really easy to identify it's a bar graph is notice they have spaces between your bars. Do you guys see that? Because soon we'll talk about histograms, and histograms do not have spaces between the bars. So I'll elaborate that a little bit more, but with the bar graphs, you have the spaces. So any questions on bar graphs? Okay, switching gears to our next one. Pie charts. So our pie charts, like the bar graphs, are also most often used for our categorical data. Now, pie charts are often used if you look on media or on the internet, right? You often see a pie chart, but they're not always going to be the best visual representation. And so here is kind of an example, right? This was a pie chart I was able to pull from the internet that had to do with like an election and shows what proportion of people voted for Reyes, Chu, and Williams. Now, it's easy to see who was the winner.
Williams.
Exactly.
Oh,
not Williams. Who is it?
No, I'm colorblind. Never mind.
I'm sorry. I should have picked a better chart.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I can see. I just, didn't pay attention.
But seriously, I just took online classes for the spring about like teaching online, and like one of the sections was about like colors and what colors to use, and I tried really hard, you'll notice, to use like different colors, but I see that maybe the blue and the purple could confuse some people. But yes. Okay, so who got the most votes? Can we all tell?
Yes, Reyes.
Yes.
Reyes. Okay, and who got the least votes?
Williams.
Everybody, yeah. Williams did, okay? But what's hard about the pie chart is it's hard to compare. Did Williams or did Reyes get twice as much as Williams? Maybe. You know, it's hard to compare. So this one was nice because it had actually included the percentages. So do you all see how I just made the percentages appear? Can you tell I put in some effort? Now that we see the numbers, it's easier to tell who was the winner, and we're able to compare the numbers. But with a pie chart, if that wasn't given to us, it's much harder to compare one sector or piece of pie to the other. Okay, I have some other pie charts here. Just some things to watch out with our pie charts. The first example where you see the two, it shows there's a good one versus there's a not so good one. Do we know why the one with the red X is not a good one? Does anybody know? Out of those first two? Alyssa, do you know?
Well, I know that there's a section like separated from the rest, but I don't know why that would be bad.
Okay. So what they're actually trying to show us with that one that you caught on to is this is actually a 3D representation. When you go from 2-dimensional, you're just talking about area. But when you go to 3-dimensional, you're now talking about volume. And for us, or even just your normal layman looking at these graphs, it's much harder to compare volume than it is to area. So for example, did you guys read in your textbook yet for this module? Yes or no? You can be honest with me.
No, I haven't.
Anybody? Okay. Make sure you do, because Professor Conley has worked really hard to put some really good information together. And one of the things that she mentions as an example in there about these 3D representations is like the jelly bean. Have we ever been to like a party or something where they have a bunch of jelly beans in a jar and they ask how many jelly beans in a jar? Have we all seen that before? Yes? Has anybody ever won? Have any of you ever won the jelly bean in the jar? Anybody? Woohoo! What did you win, Jesse?
No idea, but I just remembered recently learning about volumes, and I just made a guess off that.
Oh, really? And it helped, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you used math, so you cheated. But I don't think using your brain to win is cheating. But yes, so her point was that without using math, just looking at it, we make really bad guesses as to what the actual volume is, right? And so the same thing goes with a 3D representation. So the one on the right is really difficult to be able to really compare because the volumes actually are much different proportion-wise than the areas are. And then the one down below with the animals. When we look at that one, there's kind of a lot of categories. How many categories are there? Everybody?
6.
Yeah, there's 6 categories. And it's again, it's hard to tell and read what's going on. So here are some important things to think about with our pie charts. Let's see, what does it say at the very top? Jesus, can you read what it says at the very top for me? Oh.
Ordering categories.
What does it say right above?
Oh, some challenges with pie charts are ordering categories, right?
Yes, exactly. So I couldn't read it because it got all my stuff for Zoom up there. But yes, some challenges with pie charts. Some things we need to watch out for is ordering, right? I think sometimes maybe if they're ordered with the smallest to biggest group where it goes in a circle, that's easier. But when it's random wedges, it's much harder to read. So the ordering can be a little challenging. What does the next thing say, Andrea?
Comparing slices.
Exactly. Like I mentioned previously, it's hard to compare one slice to the other. Is one group twice as big as another? It's much easier to see if I took this information and put it into a bar chart or bar graph. We'd be able to see that one group is twice the frequency of another, but here it's more difficult to see. Ashley, what does the next bullet point say?
Estimating percentages.
Exactly. So like I mentioned previously, right? It's hard to tell for this one, if I look at the animals, the cats versus dogs, it's hard to compare those percentages. And then we always want to avoid the 3D pie charts because, again, the volume really makes it difficult. What does that last bullet point say? It says avoid 3D pie charts, right? And then it says especially
misleading.
They're especially misleading. Exactly, because of volume. Perfect. Okay, so any questions on pie charts? We're all doing well? Awesome. And then Joel and Jesse, if you can keep me posted on time when it gets to be like
sure. We have about 7 minutes left to 2:50.
Oh, wow. I'm really taking my time with you guys today. Okay, I'll pick up my pace. Histograms. Histograms are useful for numerical data. Another term to keep in mind for numerical data is quantitative data. Again, that's probably not a term that you'll be tested on, but it is one that I know for sure I've seen in some of the videos and presentations. So just so you know, quantitative is talking about numerical data. And how I remember it is that N in quantitative is like numbers. Okay, so here is a histogram. Right away, do we see some differences about our histogram versus our bar graphs? What is one difference you notice, Liz?
The bars are all touching. Like they're
they're all touching. Now the reason why that is, it's because if you notice my horizontal axis, what do I have down there that I didn't have in the bar graphs? Ashley, can you tell what I have down at the bottom?
Height.
It says height. Right above height, we see a bunch of numbers, right? Because it's numerical data. So for this one, you have like basically a number line, right? You have some sort of range of values. So here, your classes will all automatically be in some sort of order, right? Smallest to biggest. Again, our bar graph, it's just categorical data, so it doesn't matter which class I put where, but here, it absolutely matters because it's got a range. Okay, so some questions. Let's see, Jesus, can we tell based off of this histogram, what is the observational unit?
I don't know.
Do you see how it's labeled at the top? What does it say?
Heights of black cherry trees.
Exactly. So our observational unit is what we're measuring. In this case, it's the black cherry trees, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, how many black cherry trees were sampled in all? How could we figure that out? Alyssa, what will we do to figure out how many black cherry trees were sampled in all?
You add each one for the category. So say like there's 3 from 60 to 65, and then you keep going.
Perfect. Exactly. So the first group, we have 3. The next group has a frequency of 3. What about 70 to 75? Andrea, how many black cherry trees had a height between 70 and 75?
1.
Between 70 and 75. Do you see how on the vertical axis it says frequency, right?
Oh, 8, right?
Exactly, 8. And then the next one, the next class had a frequency of 10. So that means there were 10 trees between 75 and 80 and so forth. So if we add them all up, do we know what the total is? Anybody calculate it?
Yes.
Okay, anybody other than a tutor or a mentor?
Yeah, no.
This one I already did, so I do know the answer.
31.
31, woohoo! So that means there were 31 trees sampled. Perfect. What class had the, does that say highest frequency? Let's see, Jesus, which class had the highest frequency?
75 to 80.
Exactly, perfect. I can't read number 4. Ashley, can you read number 4 for me?
How many trees had a height that was greater than 75 feet?
Perfect. So how many trees had a height that was greater than 75? Andrea, how will we calculate that?
I don't know.
So greater than 75 means more than 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we locate the 75 on that horizontal axis,
Okay.
okay, notice we have the class 75 to 80. I think
Right.
you
Yeah.
or somebody else, now I can't remember. 75 to 80, there were 10 trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 80 to 85, how many trees were there?
5.
Mm-hmm. And then 85 to 90 is
2.
2. So if we add those all up, 10 plus 5 plus 2 is?
17.
Perfect. So that means there's 17 trees that had a height greater than 75 feet.
Okay.
How many trees, I think that said, had a height that was less than 70 feet tall? Alyssa?
6.
Exactly. Perfect. Just add the frequency of the 2 groups below 70, 3 and 3. And Jesus, were any trees 92 feet tall?
No.
Exactly, right? There's nothing there. So none were 92 feet tall. So are we good on histograms?
Yeah.
Okay, so histograms are for what type of data, everybody?
Numerical.
Numerical, perfect. Okay, how many more minutes do I have, Joel?
About
1.
2. 1. Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk fast. Dot plots. These are dot plots. They're another great way to be able to see our numerical data. Can you tell how many people were sampled? So it refers to the number of brothers and sisters. So we have 2 people that had 0, 1 person that had, yeah, 2
15?
people had 0 siblings and so forth. So how many people were sampled?
15.
Do we
Yes.
agree? I didn't do the math yet. Yes.
Yeah, we do agree.
15.
Good job, Jesus.
Woohoo. Do I have another question? What does question number 2 say, Ashley?
Does the dot plot represent discrete or continuous data?
That's a good question. Ashley, I'm going to have you answer it. Do you remember the difference between discrete and continuous?
Yes.
Okay. You got a 50-50 shot again. Is it discrete or continuous?
Discrete.
Woohoo! Why is it discrete? Say that again.
Because it's countable data.
Yay! It's countable, right? When we're talking about brothers and sisters, it's countable. You would not say, I have 2.5 siblings, right? No, we wouldn't. Even if they're really short, they're still a whole person. Okay. This is a stem and leaf. So I think I'm out of time, but really quickly, do we all know how to read a stem and leaf?
Yeah.
So for example, let's say the stem and leaf represents ages. What is the youngest person from the stem and leaf?
41.
41. And the oldest is?
95.
Perfect. And do we all notice? I do have one good question. What age occurred the most frequently?
78.
78.
Exactly. Very good, Jesus. Jesus gets a spin too.
Got it.
78, right? How many times does 78 occur, everybody?
3.
3 times. I just killed a bug. Did anybody see me catch it? Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all we have time for. Very good job, you guys. It's nice to meet all of you. We should have had more students, but it's kind of nice only having 4 because now I know your names really well.
Yeah. From our group, I believe 2 or 3 didn't meet orientation, and we actually had 1 legitimate absence, meaning that they are registered in the class, they are part of the group, but for some reason they didn't show up.
Okay.
But yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the schedule, it says there's another mandatory Zoom meeting. Are you going to have one in 10 minutes, it says?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll get like a 10-minute break. I'm going to pass the Zoom over to Joel and Jesse. I'm going to sign off, and then they'll keep working with you guys.
Right. So for example, I just took
okay.
I just took a screenshot of the stem and leaf plot so that we could discuss more questions about that.
Good call. Let me know if you're going to take a screenshot so I'm not making funny faces.
Oh no, I sniped just the chart.
Oh, even better, even better. Okay, sounds good. I would always tell my students in person, like if you're going to take pictures of the screen or my boards, make sure I'm not in it because you never know if I'm going to have a good hair day. Okay, let's see. I need to pass this over to Jesse. It's only saying make host. So who should I make the host, Jesse or
You can make it Joel.
Okay.
And then I'll figure out a way to make him co-host. It's
Okay.
just like a
Sounds
features thing. But
Yeah, yesterday I was able to make it happen, so I don't know.
Sure.
Something
so
maybe.
so you guys feel free to take a 10-minute break or 8-minute break. Well, actually, go ahead and take your 10-minute break. Come back at 3:02, and we'll go to 3:50. Okay.
Bye, class. I'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Professor.
next time. Thank
Bye.
you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, and it is mandatory. I should have said that.
Come back.
It
Make
is
sure you all come
mandatory.
back.
Do
Makes
not
sense.
leave. You will get dropped.
Oh, one thing, if you can remind them when they come back, Joel and
Yes.
Jesse, I do have office hours. So my office hours, if they ever want to meet and ask me questions, are every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. to 9:15 p.m.
8:30 to 9:15 p.m.
Do they just email you, or are you going to be like in
The
a Zoom
link
room?
is posted on my syllabus.
Okay.
But maybe I'll send out a message today just to my whole class, just letting them know and giving them that link so that they have it. But it's probably going to actually be this link that they all use today.
Is that
Okay.
going to be? Oh, so it's going to be like you in a Zoom room, and then people
Exactly.
can like come in. Okay, cool.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, 8:30 to 9:15. I found that college students do much better with office hours at nighttime.
Really?
It's when they're putting in their work.
I know. Well,
Really?
I have to put my kids to bed and then I can do office hours.
I never ever wanted to go to campus at night.
Well,
No,
like
no,
online ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll
But
be
it makes
preface that
sense.
I normally teach at 7 a.m.
Really? Oh, okay.
Then we switched over to Zoom.
Wow.
Nobody showed up. So I switched it to the night.
Really?
And people
It would
started
be-
to show up.
I think it would be easier to go to like a Zoom class at 7
Yeah.
as
well,
opposed to before, because you could just wake up and go, as opposed to like getting ready and then having to worry about driving.
yeah, maybe all the craziness of the quarantine changed people, but
Oh
Sleep
yeah.
schedules
so
have
yeah,
changed.
8:30 p.m. I will be back on if any of my students need help. So thanks
Okay.
again, guys. Nice to meet you, and I'll see you
Nice
later.
to meet you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you next time, Professor.
So you only have 8 people in this class? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I'm realizing. I never saw Alyssa Jimenez. I never saw Richard Tiate, but then
Uh-huh.
I feel like I thought I saw Raisher Tiate.
Rasher is. Oh.
But what's Rasher's last name? Because me and you
Leduc.
saw Rasher last time, right? Or I've seen a
Leduc.
Rasher somewhere.
Yeah, Rasher's in my group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Leduc. Rasher Leduc.
Okay, so never mind. That's just my brain associating Rasher and Richard.
So there's only. Oh, I thought
So-
my group was small. I guess
Yeah,
it's
so
about
the
the
only-
same.
So the only student that should have been here, because I know they went to orientation and they're still participating. They even sent me a message, I think was on Monday night, was Derek Webb.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I've been wanting to point out. How do we take attendance in the sense that they attend, but they didn't put their name and didn't put their phone away, but they are attending. You see what I'm trying to say?
True. I guess you can put it in the notes, like
Yeah.
was there, but didn't do the name in chat. Did they? I mean, they all did name in chat, right? I think.
Yeah. I mean, as
Yeah.
far as the people who are present here today, yeah.
I guess you would throw it in the notes because the whole sheet gets read. So you could put like was here but didn't do any of the following,
Right.
I guess.
Okay.
Or just was here. I don't know what the not assist general notes. What was assist?
Assist is when we see someone who's struggling and we would like to recommend them a one-on-one help or an office hour or a little more. Yeah.
Okay. And then what's
So,
a yellow and red card?
So as you can see, I'm putting S's
Yeah,
for spins. I think because I don't want them to accumulate, I think I put S's on a different day. So I think I'm gonna convert those. So when they come back, we'll do that on the screen right now for them.
Yeah, do all the spins. I just realized I gave spins on Monday, but I never showed them. So I guess I'll just do it. I just did it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess on Wednesday. Wait, no, not Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow, we'll just do it. Like at the beginning of the is this considered tutoring or is it just extended lecture?
This is a mandatory tutoring, so this should stay on the same sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, and the staff, I'm gonna put our name, right? So Jesse.
How do you mark? You know how they have days where they watch videos. What do you put for the sheet for them?
You're saying on a non-mandatory day?
Yeah, or where it says mandatory watch this video, do you just leave it blank?
Where are you seeing that?
Like, you know, like for the pink kestrels today, we don't have a mandatory session, but they're required to watch videos.
You're talking, okay, so you're looking at the itinerary. So I'm looking at pink kestrels, Thursday itinerary.
Wednesday itinerary. They just
Wednesday,
have to watch. Yeah, they're just watching videos.
Yeah, so when they watch that video, the only way to know, no, there's no monitoring. We don't know if they did or didn't watch it.
True.
They should. This video? We got to try and find out a way to ask them, I guess.
Guess I could. I guess I'll just have them message me when they finish it.
Yeah, exactly. So just reach out to. It's more like reminding them to do it, but
YouTube
it's because ideally, if they had time, but I mean, it's so hectic for Angie and Marie, right?
Sure, yeah.
But they probably should put that link into not a module, but a frame inside Canvas that once they watch it, they click done.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a good way to.
I don't know how weird it is to make a module though. Well, if it's in their class,
that's actually a good thing. Actually, I as a TA, I have the option to create one now that I see one at the top.
Create a module. Oh, and put in but it's not because it's not a YouTube video. It's a different format for
that link.
Yeah.
So for example,
this is a YouTube video, and then on the videos that you watch on Zoom that make the next button locked until you finish it, it's a different format. So I don't know how to upload that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Like that.
I so I don't think there would be a good way to force them to watch it, but it would be nice if it's already embedded and they watch it, and they can click done if they do or don't watch it. True. But at least that's them. It's almost like signing that like a confirmation when you initial the professor's syllabus, saying I read this, right?
Yeah.
So you check on it, you're checking it at your own,
True. But worst case scenario is like it doesn't work. And then that's another headache of trying to manually put it as done for like Marie and Angie.
So I actually don't. I think that's only happening for like more complicated structured modules. You know, when you have to do questions in between, or check boxes in between, or like when you have to interact with the thing. I
Like
think that's
the ones with multiple pages, right?
yeah. But as far as like putting a display, clicking done to read, I think those all function pretty well.
Maybe we could do it.
Yeah, of course I wouldn't add it now because we would have to ask Angie see if that's a good idea or not. But
True.
'cause
That's probably.
it could get very cluttered very quickly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because we can check that, right, in their grades. Oh, also their quiz. Do we have to fill that in their sheet, their monitoring sheet from yesterday?
So yesterday was independent study, and there should be an independent study sheet.
Yeah,
Simply
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're going by date.
Who graded these? Oh, I see it.
So give me a second.
I found it. Yeah, I can
There's
see the
the
grades
sim
right here.
open tutoring monitoring. That's by date, but there's also
There's one for Tuesday, like a whole separate page for Tuesday.
okay. In the open monitoring, is it in
Yeah.
the same sheet or a different? Oh, is it a different
So
Google file?
in your group, your group monitoring sheet, like on the bottom, there's a tab for Tuesday.
Got it.
Yeah, and I just saw that the quizzes got graded. Oh my god.
Oh, so we're in a purple team right now. Just so you know, this is actually my purple team.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't see any quiz scores for that. You're looking at the test rolls,
it's
right?
on Canvas.
Oh, it's on Canvas, not on
yeah. So you have to go to their section, which is Calisher, right?
Yeah.
Calisher, I mean. Yeah, and then you can see their grades.
You mean in grades, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were. Hold on, it's because. So what? We have open tutoring sheets. We have purple specific sheets.
Where's the open tutoring sheet?
I'll show you one.
Is that a tutoring only thing?
Yeah. So you're never in a tutoring room, right?
Nah.
Right, exactly. So when I tutor, it looks like this. I have a sheet like this. So let's say Monday I work the shift. I just write down everybody's name who shows up. I put the time that they come in or leave, and then they get points. You know, like the spins, right?
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and then it's by date too, right? So they have.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, it was me, Denver, and Joe, and we had 2 people show up, and we put little marks here for them.
They're doing 3 for session.
Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's open tutoring. Then we have.
Oh, they're back, by the way. So I don't know if you want to keep sharing your screen.
No, I know. I'm being conscious of what I put, but I'm I actually want them to see this because, hey guys, I know you're back. This is what it looks like. What we're doing behind scenes, monitoring you guys. So like, you guys answered questions, and we have some spins here. So that means you're gonna get some extra credit for these. Does that make sense? So we're gonna do that now. See how many points you guys earn for having participated in class. And the point of this is, the more points you guys get as a purple team, the more points you can get on your exam for extra credit. You guys get that? So like right now, other teams are answering questions and showing up to tutoring. They're acquiring a lot of points, right? And whoever gets the most points by the end of the week is the one eligible to get extra credit. If you're not even in the top 2 or top 3 of teams who got the most number of points, you're not even going to be eligible for extra credit. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So, for example, today you guys, everyone pretty much responded a couple questions, and it's good because she calls on people as opposed to waiting. So Andrea, you're gonna get 1 spin, and how do I do this? There, I'm gonna split my screen. Okay. Yeah, it's tough managing so many screens. I got your faces. I got the monitoring.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to StatCrunch. I go to our groups.
My groups.
Yeah, my groups. My bad.
There's a tab in there.
Oh, my bad.
Well.
Okay. So it's like, so right now I have like the annotate record and it's just in the way. I can't click on it.
Oh yeah, it sucks. It's
Okay,
just.
so
I wonder if you can change that to like bottom
Yeah.
screen.
I wish it's a horizontal bar. I wish it could snap vertically so it could like a desktop.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to sim. I go to spinner inputs, and you guys will actually need to learn how to make a spinner yourselves. So we've already preset this just for the points we're going to play with. The way it works is the likelihood of getting 10 points is going to be small. So these frequencies, I think they add up to 100%. I could be wrong. Let's see. 5 and 15 is 20. 20 and 30 is 50. Yeah, so all this is, do you see how all this adds up to 100? Okay, so because it adds up to 100 points, it's going to figure out there's a 5% chance that you get 10 points. There's a 15% chance you get 5 points. Does that make sense? There's a 20% chance you get 1 point. So it's very likely that you'll get 1 point. And so when I go to applets, you guys will have to eventually learn how to do this for other activities. We're using it as an example for your extra credit points, but you should learn to make a spinner yourself. You click spinner, you put the labels are the MVP points. The weights are those percentages I was mentioning to you. And I hit compute, and it creates this. So right now I'm going to spin for Andrea. You got 2, so I'm going to go in here, take that, put a 2. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to do another one. Okay, Ashley, you lucked out and got 2 3s. So I'm not sure if it's going to work by. Interesting.
Yeah, I think you just have to add them.
Okay. No, this is important because all the other tutors have been putting commas, and they don't realize that Angie wants to go by team and eventually just see the total score here.
Really? Why?
So they can compete, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
No, I mean, why are they putting like commas though?
Oh, they're trying to show that they got 3 or 10 or 4.
True.
Like how many
Okay.
times? Yeah. Okay. Jesse, you're quite active, which is good. And then we'll spin. Okay, you got 5. Alyssa, you got 3. And whoops, reset. Spin and spin. Oh, sweet. You got a 5. Okay, 8. So as you can see, it's a part random, but also you have, the more you answer, the more you increase your chances at playing the game. So just because you answer 3 doesn't mean you're going to get more points, but you're still getting opportunities to place. Okay, good job, guys. So that's it for spinners. Let me close this. Let me stop sharing. And I want to pull up the stem. And question. Did you guys do module 2? Unmute yourselves. Everybody unmute yourselves.
Yeah.
Stat crunch. I did the graphs. I haven't did the observations yet. That's the only thing I need though.
Okay, but did you do module 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm only asking because some people are trying to do those charts without having done module 2. And it would be confusing to try and create charts when you don't even know how to create charts because no one delivered the information or explained to you how to create charts, right? So module 2 explains that. So today, when she was asking, do we know what we use for categorical or what we use for numerical? That was in module 2. But the fact that we're not able to answer it means we're not understanding, or maybe we're going through those slides too quickly, or maybe not taking notes, or or maybe we forget, or we feel like we're on the spot, and that's cool. That's fine, no big deal. But do you see there's a weird awkward pause silence because the teacher will know that she can't ask a question that she hasn't covered. But when she's asking a question that she thinks you might have read, then there's a disconnect between our communication styles. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So okay. So I'm going to see if they posted a worksheet at the end of module 2. So I'm going to screen share again. What does it look like when you're in Canvas? Okay. And we're in Calisher. And module, dang, I got homework to do for you. I'm supposed to write questions for module 4, but I didn't think we would be at module 4 so quickly. Okay, module 2. How to learn module 2? What's it look like for you guys on module 2?
Like that.
Like that.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I have a question. The Quizlet for module 2 for me was locked. It said it was private and it didn't allow me to get access.
Okay, that means you might not have joined our group, our Quizlet group. Was there a button to request permission?
I don't know. I just said Quizlet is private, so I went back.
Okay.
Because I was able to see module 1's Quizlet.
Okay. You click this link, I'm sure, right? Top one or the bottom one? Which one should I click?
I tried both.
Okay. So make sure you log into Quizlet and have joined the Quizlet group. So we got to make sure we're in the group. So when I join, I am part of it because there's 63 members. So that's actually important. Like, so can you guys see how much troubleshooting we have to do? 63 members. How many members should we see here?
100?
Yeah, about 100 something. So there's a lot of students who have not registered. And so sign up for free to request access. Yeah, so you just click here. And then, but when I sign in, if I were to sign in, and I'm going to close that window, right? Let's say I left my, you know how you can leave your browser where it keeps you signed in, right? I believe when I click on this thing, it won't take me to that window. It takes me directly into the group. Have I not joined? Maybe I haven't joined myself. Well, first off, why not? I'm gonna hit join. And module 2 vocabulary. And this is what it would look like. So try to see if you can join or send a request, or maybe create an account. Did you ever have to create an account?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So once you log in, keep it logged in. Click on the link, and maybe it'll ask you to join. Okay. So what was I gonna say? I'm trying to find module 2 so that I can see if there's a worksheet added to module 2. So for example, I have the whole chapter here, modules 1 through 5, but then we also have separate tabs for I have access to module 1. Oh, where'd it go?
I have my login information on my phone. Can I get it out to see my password and stuff?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. They removed it?
Which?
So all I'm trying to say is there was when they're sharing files with us, there were the textbook, Unit 1, Module 1. Yeah, there we go. This is the one. I'm surprised I don't have it in my shortcut. Sorry, guys. Module 1. Okay. So this is what your Unit 1 looked like, right? You guys remember that? And at the bottom of it, we had this worksheet, right?
Yeah.
How many of you completed this worksheet? Did you know you had to complete this worksheet?
No.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to highlight. I want us to be familiar with the fact that today might have felt like our first day of class, right? Because it was our first mandatory. And remember, last Friday I told you, I think we're going to meet on Wednesday, right? And you're like, well, what do we do Monday and Tuesday? I'm like, well, you're going to get notifications over the weekend about going to modules 1, right? So everyone had to do module 1. But that means you clicked through module 1 too quickly when you got to the textbook. Watch. Or actually, no. Sorry. I take the responsibility off of you guys. They should have put that module 1 chapter section right here. But I guess they put it at the very top. So you always have access to these things, right? So when you come to our link, this classroom, you most likely click here, right? And it takes you to this giant chart, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I'm trying to point out: textbook chapters. So module 1 has a textbook section, and you should read these pages, and it's in PDF form, so you can download it, or you can preview it right inside of Canvas. I like downloading it because it's easier to navigate. You could preview it in here, but as you can see, it doesn't display too well. Would you agree? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like downloading it and saving it wherever I need to. But so let's say I did download it, and Unit 1, it looks like this. See, so now it's the same PDF. Well, sorry, my mouse doing that mouse thing again because I can't scroll up through your faces or our faces. Okay, so as you can see, this is literally what was on the Canvas website, and this is your actual textbook. You do have a textbook for this class. It's pretty cool. Like the first section's at most 10 pages, and most of this is like it's only like 4 to 5 pages of reading, right? So here's page 1. This is where you're supposed to learn what categorical and numerical variables are, discrete and continuous. So those questions that came up today and we're a little, hesitant to answer, that vocabulary is all in here. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So and it'll even have links to the quiz that's from inside the textbook as well. What is an observational unit? And it tells you, so these are examples that you could have read and answered. What is a variable? So in other words, we literally think that when you came to the class, you saw this, and so that you should know that vocabulary, those 3 pieces of vocabulary: numerical variable, which is either discrete or continuous. And then why would we think you have this? Because we would have a chart. Sorry. Where was that chart? There was a chart here somewhere. Oh, I'm wrong. There, right? So there, Yeah, so I think I'm doing overkill, but I'm trying to say the modules on Canvas are one way to receive information, but that's not all the information you got to be reviewing. So on Monday, since we had nothing mandatory, right, we still expect you log in from 12 to 3, go on Canvas and start reading this PDF, doing your Quizlets, and doing modules, right? So you are having class 5 days a week. It just happens to be that today you get access to the professor's mind, meaning the professor is the one that can answer your questions in the most precise way. She has the most knowledge for this, right? So this is like an organized office hour. You get what I'm saying? She does have additional office hours when you want to go in private and you want to ask her questions. She told me to let you guys know her office hours are from 8:30 to 9:15 p.m. on Wednesdays. How do you get to her? I think you're going to end up using this very same link. So, but in terms of channels, I believe this was purple Wednesday. So if you guys want to help on privately, like one-on-one, and you want to ask her a very specific questions, write this down. Her office hours from 8:30 to 9:15 p.m. on Wednesdays. And I believe you're going to click Calisher Zoom 2. But if it doesn't work, just click Calisher Zoom 1. And if for some reason that doesn't work, I think we have it over here in Canvas on our syllabus. Okay, so I know you guys are writing down, looking down, so look up at the screen real quick. If you go to home and you go to, you should see syllabus when you go to home, right? And you can preview or download again. But you should have 2 links. Preview. There, this is going to be her office Zoom ID. So actually, I've shown you where to get it, but if you want to put it on paper, that's fine. You get what I'm saying? Organize yourselves. I shouldn't say write this down and then you write it down. But I will always give you warnings when I think you should write it down. So you have 2 ways of getting to her.
Also, Zoom will save the room once you've joined once, so you can always switch through.
Cool. Does it save it? Like
Yep.
your history?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So you don't always have to click like the link. If you open Zoom by itself, it gives you like a drop-down menu for rooms to join, and then you can just pick.
Oh, cool. No, that's good to know. I didn't know that. I always happen to go to the link, but I never opened Zoom prior to, and I haven't observed that it records a history of my rooms. That's good to know.
Yep. Also, if you can't make it to office hours, you have tutors available every single day that you can head to. So,
I would like to highlight. You can go to any tutor, but if you want to find me, go to your itinerary. Again, go to that would be in modules, itineraries, and you guys could use some pointers on how to become more tech savvy, meaning the younger generation knows how to use a ton of apps, right? But you haven't learned to use like apps to get work done, So like when you're here, if you hit Control F on your keyboard, do you see how this pops up right here? Okay, using that, you can type in Joel, and it only comes up. Well, it comes up 89 times. So I'm on this schedule 89 times. Okay. And the problem, the problem with this is that a lot of these are repeats. So, but you could just scroll down and let me describe this differently. I'm doing this wrong. When I go to green, the green team, I show up here. on Mondays. Every Monday I have tutoring from 4 to 5. But that's going to be on everybody's schedule. You see what I'm saying? Right? You see how? So that's why I'm coming up 89 times. Doesn't mean that I have actually that many variety of slots. It's just I'm available for a lot of these schedules. See, even the red peregrines can see that I'm available every day on Mondays from 4 to 5. So what I'll do for us, I think what I'll do is I'm going to change my profile to read, and I'm going to put all my times here for you guys. Now, again, you don't have to come to my hours. You can go to any tutor, but I'll adjust it, and you can see it here. So you're probably asking, how do I look at this, right? When you're in your classroom, you can look at any of your classmates, tutors, or professors. So when you go to Calisher and you go to people, and you click on people, like Denver's one of our tutors. If I click on him, it takes me to his biography, and you can see he hasn't put any information, but it tells you that he's in the 4 sections, right? So right here, when you click on my name, you're going to see my schedule here. Is that okay? Okay. I know I could be going over a lot more stats, but me telling you where the book is, me telling you how the modules are supposed to go, me telling you where you can get help, it is the best way to really get your stats done, right? Like in the meantime, like you know how to help yourself is what I'm trying to do right now. Okay. So am I going too fast? Anything I should repeat?
No. Okay.
So I jumped around a lot because I'm trying to get to module 2. I showed you how this is module 1's PDF, and at the end of the PDF there's a worksheet. Technically right now we should be done with module 2 and starting module 3. So I want to make sure, because I'm struggling to find the PDF for module 2 myself, right? So let's go see. Together we're going to go to our Canvas. We're going to go to textbook chapters. After, you could do them in either order. To be honest, I think it's a little easier to read the textbook and then do the module. But I know most students appreciate the module better because it's like you click, you watch, you click, you hit slide, and you keep going. But just my recommendation, you don't have to take it. I would read module 2 and then do I would do the textbook reading and then do module 2. So here it is again. So I'm going to download it. Let's see, put it in my Cerritos textbook chapter. So that's just me. I created a Sim Summer 2020. I created a textbook chapter section, and I'm now going to download the PDF. It pops up, and here's the actual reading. Okay. And you scroll down. Oh, there's some videos in here in case you want to know how to use StatCrunch. I just watched this video before I got to class, so I can know what you guys are up to. This is super useful. So we might actually watch this together right now. Okay. You read, as usual, right? This is what the professor was going over with us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So do you see why she doesn't know if you did do it, but she hopes you did it. You see what I'm saying? Wouldn't it have been easier if we read this and then came to class? Yeah. To some extent, Okay. Read. And there may be some work down here. I don't know if there will be. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Stem and leaf plot, right? There you go. A worksheet. So this worksheet is, and a second worksheet. Okay. So we can work on these right now.
Were you supposed to turn in the worksheets or not?
No. So we won't be collecting the worksheet. Yeah, it's just practice. So I'm always hesitant to say no, correct? Because the first thing you're going to do is like, oh, I don't have to do it. But technically you don't. But you can see the practice would help.
Yeah.
Okay. So did everyone come back, by the way? Was it just us? Or right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys prefer right now? Watching a little 5-minute video, or taking a 5-minute break, or doing the worksheets right now? Whatever you want. Oh, unmute yourself if you want to.
All right, then the worksheets, so we can go over it together.
Worksheets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, here we go. Worksheets. Okay. So yeah, just a reminder, go watch that video though for StatCrunch, right? Okay. Okay, the following circle graph shows the distribution of household water. So we have a pie chart. What are your first impressions? Oh, sorry. I'll read it out loud and then tell me your first impression. So I see a chart, it's a pie chart. I see percentages. I see they're going to tell me how much water is being used, right? It's telling me that the average residence has 110 gallons of water used per year. I see that a lot of water is used for toilets. Now, you see, I'm being vague. Remember, there's always that the good, the better, and the best answer, right? So when Professor Calisher asked you earlier today, when you saw the categorical chart and the numerical chart, a good answer would be, I see information about colleges and soccer players. But there's a better answer, right? You could say, I see information about the number of people that have attained their education in college, or I see the number of soccer players that can run at various speeds. You see how that was a better answer, is more specific? And then the best answer would be to say, I'm trying to remember the slide, so now I might not be able to give the best answer because I'm trying to remember the chart. But I have to go through all the details of the chart, right? So for this one, if I were to say, what do you notice? And you say, it's about water. Well, that's okay, right? But that's not very informative, right? And you can say, oh, it's about the amount of water used in a household. That's better. Or it's the amount of water broken down by categories for the average family. You understand how we want to slowly improve our answers? Okay. So I see that toilets use the most amount of water and washing machines use the most amount of water. That's very specific, right? Okay, so here's the first question. Everybody understand what the chart's telling us? Okay. So I'm going to go in order. I'm going to go with Jess. I mean, there's 5 of us, so, there's 4 here and a couple more questions. Okay, so how about you first, Jesse?
Jesus.
Jesus. My bad. my bad. Jesus.
Yeah.
How many gallons a year does the average residence use for dishwashers?
Dishwashers. 3.1%.
Very good. Okay. And sorry, that's very good, except now we have to look at the small subtlety. Do you notice the difference between how many gallons versus the percentage?
Yeah.
So if you have 110 gallons for dishwashers, it's 3.1% of 110,000, right? Yeah. So you're going to times
100, right?
Right. So to do this correctly, for those who are still not sure about decimal placement, you want to convert percentages to decimals by scrolling over 2 spots, right? Shifting it twice.
Yeah.
Like that. And multiplying by 100,000. That's a 0.031 times 1100. Oh. And I got 3,410 gallons. So what's the first thing we did? Jesus wasn't wrong in understanding what category to go to and what to conclude, but there's a detail. Always look out for what percentage or how many. When they say how many, you find the count. When they say percentage, you can just report the percentage. And I want you to know, sometimes the chart will have, the chart could have had a frequency chart. The chart could have been, like earlier discussed, it could have been written down like this. I'm just making something up, right? Like a chart that looks like this. That would be the number of gallons. And then from that chart, you can ask for the percentage. So you're either going to work with, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, depending how the chart's given, you might have to do the other one. In this case, we have percentages, and they want us to figure out the number. Is that clear or confusing? It's okay? All right. Let me erase a bit here. Okay. So I need my mouse. I'm going to type it in here. So notice when I scroll, that happens sometimes. I'll try and come up with better ways of keeping the work there. So I have to open up my comments. And if you ever have any questions on how I'm doing any of this stuff, ask, right? Like, so when I open up PDFs, if you go to the right, you can click on comments. If you don't go to the right and don't see that comment bar, you can always go to tools. And when you click here, it'll open up this comment bar. And with this comment bar, you can actually write onto the PDF and save it. I would keep 2 copies. I would save a blank one and then one that says written on or notes or annotated. And with this tool, okay, I can come in here and type, 3.1% of 100,000 is, gallons is 3,410 gallons. And then so notice when I scroll, that's stuck on the page. This other stuff that I'm writing is stuck on my screen. Okay. Okay, Lisbeth, how about B?
I got 9.34.
Okay. If the dishwasher were run every day, how many gallons per day does the dishwasher use? Okay, it's going to get a little tricky because of the per day. So this is annually. So okay, so we have dishwasher. Where is the dishwasher? Oh, my bad. It's already calculated. Cool. So B, the answer to B relies on what we got in part A. If this is annually, right, then
Do we use divided?
yeah, we just have to divide it. So, my bad. I'm trying to get a hold of all my notes. Okay. Since there are 365 days in a year and 3,410 gallons used per year, then for the daily amount used, we can say 3,410 divided by 365 equals, someone with the calculator? Oh, sorry, you already did it, Elizabeth. What'd you say?
9.34.
9.34. Sorry, I called you Elizabeth right now instead of Liz.
Okay.
Oh, it's good to use the units. So notice how the numerator would have been days. Sometimes we get sloppy. You don't have to write days, but always understand when you're cutting something out, right? Because I'm typing, because I'm talking to you guys, I don't see it as important to write these units in. But that's what allows us to really grasp 9.34 gallons per day. Oh, I have that back. Oh man, I did it backwards. Gallons here and days here. This division bar is exactly what translates to this word per, right? Okay. Okay. Andrea? So we'll do part C. Let me try to zoom out a little bit so you can still see the chart. Okay. Okay, so if each member of an average household of 4 people takes a shower every day for a year, how many gallons of water on average is used per shower?
So would I have to do the 21.2% of 110,000 gallons first?
Yes, that's correct.
So
So let me see. Okay. Right, so let me explain what she's thinking verbally. She's saying, look, if I have 4 people and they're showering every day, I first have to know how much water is used in the whole year, right?
Yeah.
And we only have a percentage, so we don't have a count. So it would have been nice if we had other questions that set us up for this question. But right now we have to now figure out, oh, we're gonna have to set ourselves up for this question. Okay,
so I
go ahead.
did it and it came up with 23,020 gallons.
Okay, 22% of 110. Say the number again.
23,320.
43,000.
No, 23.
23,000.
320.
320. Sorry. Okay. Gallons. Everybody agree that the context right now, like understanding the units and how we're processing this?
Wait, how do you get it again?
By multiplying. So again, see, my fault. I abbreviated this. I just wrote it 20% of this is this, but I should write it as 0.212 as a decimal times 11100 equals this.
Every day.
You get that? Let me double check it real quick. So 0.212 for showers times 110,000 gallons. Yep, 23,320 gallons. Now this is the amount used by the whole family. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we have to do now?
Divide it
Divide it,
Right.
yeah.
By what?
by
365? No, because it's every day for a
Right.
year.
And just so you know, someone else could be thinking, let's divide it by 4 because there's 4 family members. And
Right.
both answers would be correct, but both answers are not the final product. So you can look at it this way. All the water for the family, let's figure out how much the family uses in one day. And then we split it into 4. Or someone else could be thinking, all the water in the household used throughout the year, let's split it into 4 to see how much one person uses for the whole year. But then we'll have to split that amount into 365 days. So we're going to do both processes, and the order doesn't matter, but I wanted to be point that out in case you start panicking how you're organizing it. Okay, so I'm going to go with dividing by 365. What do you guys get?
63.89.
Yeah.
Okay. 63.89. And so it is important to know what order you did it in so you can at least explain the units. Right now, some students won't know how to say, is this how much water one person uses, 4 people uses, right? This is how much water is used by the family on one day. So now we want to know how much a person uses, right?
Can we divide it by 4?
Yes. So 63.89. There are 4 family members together. They're using 63 gallons in a day. But since there were 4 showers, we divided by 4 people taking a shower. I'm being sloppy with my units because I didn't put in my numerators, but I'm just trying to summarize it, right? Gallons. And what do you guys get?
1597.
Okay. Makes sense. Every time one of these family members showers, it's about 16 gallons of water. Okay. Ashley. Okay, Ashley. What is wrong or misleading about this graph? Now, I will help only because the chances that we read this textbook is slim, right? In the previous pages, at some point, they do tell you what you should look out for. So let me see if I could find it. Pie charts. I could be wrong. So right here, they'll show you, you know, some like all through here, they're trying to say, look out for this, don't look out for this, watch out if someone tries to make it 3D on you. You know, because when you take a pie chart and you tilt it, you start to change the size of the slice. It looks like it has a perspective. So do you see how this blue slice looks large, right? And it almost looks the same size as this red one. If you were to take that pie chart and like start to flip it flat and straight so you can see it more clearly, you might realize that the blue is actually much larger. So pie charts are best read without any angle. They should be straight on. Also, you shouldn't have too many categories because then you can't really see, right? Like, is the orange the same size? Is the orange the same size as this blue? It's hard to tell because of the skewness again. But if you start to have too many categories, you can't make a really good comparison. So our chart wasn't skewed, but I'm trying to find they always tell you to look for percentages. If it wasn't here, it's somewhere else. When you're looking at something that has percentages, always check to see if it's 100%. Does that make sense?
It is 350 right now.
Okay. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm just gonna explain this last part. Let's add these percentages up. Tell me if you actually get 100%. Because a pie chart that doesn't add up to 100%, you should immediately say that's some BS.
It's
5.5 plus 11.7 plus 28.4 plus 21.2 plus 28.4 plus 3.1 plus 8.9. Did you guys get 107%?
Yeah.
Right? So it's not adding up.
So it's not accurate?
It's not accurate. Now, for this one, I have no idea why we would add up to greater than 100%. I mean, I'll give it some thought, but let's say we had a one with ethnicities, right? Let's say like Asian, Latin American, Pacific Islander, African American, Native American, right? When you see a chart like that and it adds up to more than 100%, there one thing that could be the cause of that is some people identify with more than one, right? So me in particular, I was born in Venezuela, but my dad's from Trinidad Tobago, and my grandparents on my dad's side are from China. My grandparents on my great grandparents from my mom's side, I think, are from Spain. And so I'm mixed of all types, right? So that means if you're going to add up to more than 100%, you might be double counting people in various categories, right? So like a student like me who checked a lot of boxes pops up on a chart, and if Cerritos College were to create a pie chart about our ethnicities, I might be in 4 slices and I should only be in 1 slice, or or you have to account for that and figure out another slice, maybe the slice that says mixed, other, or multiple categories. But that's very important in stats, right? Organize your data, make sure you're not over 100%. Is that okay for you guys, for now, guys?
Yes. Yeah, that's
And
good.
go ahead and do the second worksheet on your own. And if you get stuck, it's just because you have to do some reading from the previous pages. You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to Open Tutoring, this room, but again, if you go to itineraries, you click on this link, you'll get to see me, and hopefully Professor Conley's there. She's the mastermind behind all this. So if you have any issues, I would go to that and, pick her brain.
She's off today.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, because I'm looking at Monday. My bad. Wednesday. Let's see. Where's Wednesday? Oh, okay. She won't be there today. It's just me and Joe. But while you're doing that worksheet, you see how much help you got? While you're going to do that second worksheet, if you get stuck, you literally have somewhere to go ask that question. So take a break, work on it, come back when you need that help. Okay? Okay, guys.
So module 3 is due tonight or tomorrow?
Probably tonight. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I'll be honest. I heard someone say 5 o'clock, but I think it should just be done today. So it looks like we're going to do a module per day.
All right.
If everyone's scheduled a little off, I don't think you're going to get knocked for doing it at 4 or at 9 or at 10 p.m. But make sure you are on top of it and you're like, yeah, I have something to do every day.
All right.
Even though our schedule makes it look like we don't,
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I was helpful. If you guys have questions, never hesitate to ask, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Later, guys.
Hey, Jesse, I don't know if you were assigning points while I was talking or not. Not that you had to, but if and when I take over the conversation like that, like I did last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to note who's like a little active or not and give them points, and we can do it later.
Got you.
Okay.
Cool.
Any tips for me that you saw that I could not do?
No, it's cool. It's probably time because I think Miss Conley's complaining about you running
Okay.
late or like making the schedule jumbling up. But I'll just start giving you cues early because I wasn't paying attention at the time. I just noticed that you were about to hit it.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking we started a couple minutes. I mean, they ended their mandatory, so I know they don't have to. This group doesn't have to be anywhere at 4. But me and you, we got to go somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Talk to you later.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.